Hi there, I'm Luma and welcome to my channel. Whew. Wow, there is so much that I want to share with you in this video today. October, profound, powerful. Oh my goodness. So let's see what I can translate into words here for you today. Just follow along with me, tune in at the depth of your soul here. Got some powerful themes, what we're working with and moving with here as we move through the dark passage. I call it the dark reckoning, depolarization of light and dark, karmic completions. I want to talk about indigo souls a lot in this video today as well. First, I want to share a really powerful experience that I had. I sit and I meditate every day as I tune in and listen. I'm doing a lot of writing right now, so heads up, there will be a book coming out next year. Working really hard on that at the moment. So a lot, so much coming through me. I feel like I could write 1,000 books. Let's start with one. Anyhow, let's get on with the video here. Okay, so I was sitting in my meditation and all I was experiencing was deep darkness, deep stillness. There's been a profound stillness, have you noticed, since we passed through the September equinox, as we're coming into the solstice. There's a deep, profound, alive awareness in the dark, yeah? And there's a deep generative, restorative renewal that's happening in the dark. Think of it as the dark womb of creation, yeah? That aspect of the dark, which is coming alive. Okay? So I was deep in that state. And then out of the darkness emerged a figure, just emerging, a big figure carrying a limp body in its arms. As it came toward me, I could see this figure was like an angel, like one of my guardian angels, is what I would say, that had retrieved a younger version of myself that was laying limp in the arms of this magnificent angelic being. And I was just told that this part of myself was being returned to me from the darkness. And that this part would just have to rest for a period of time and things would be revealed to me. So how I'm understanding this is I call this part of myself a dark orphan. I've been aware since I was a small child of the dark orphans, of these parts of human beings, these parts of our human souls that were living in very deep darkness, very disconnected, separated, and polarized from our light aspect. And I felt like I was tasked, sensitive souls that we are, we want to help. We're here on a mission to help. Yeah. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like stuck in like, like Oliver Twist, Oliver Twisted, a Dickensian like dark workhouse with all these orphaned children, and somehow I'm responsible to liberate all of these dark orphans, the weight of responsibility when you can feel and when you can see deeply into the dark and highest of the light. Okay, so I want to talk now about how our souls incarnate into a polarized field of dark and light. Okay, so our soul comes in and there's a bifurcation or a division where part of our soul quantum will come in on the dark corridors, that we're here to experience levels of darkness that you don't get to experience anywhere else in the universe or cosmos. And part of our soul quantum will come over into the light passages, that will hold our eternal nature and our deeper connection to source, okay? So that arrangement of how much dark, how much light come in, a lot of different factors that will determine what that balance is. And that's like a preordained setting as you come in that'll have something to do with karma, the genetic lines that you're incarnating into your soul's path, purpose, mission, learning on this lifetime, and as well as, you know, the conditions of the planet here and what can be held here. Okay, so you come in, some quantum's over here on the dark, some's on the light. You know, we all ask, can we just come down the middle, please? Can we just like come down? No, this is a polarized field. You gotta divide yourself up from dark and light, and you feel kind of divided inside yourself, separated. So here's part of the separation experience. So guess what? Planet Earth, this part of the universe here is been really in a deep dark density. So it's really unbalanced in the polarity. Was this much stronger pull, mass, and gravity over on the dark side. Okay, so you come in, say you're going to come in, 60% of me is going to come into the dark to really explore that. I'm going to hold 40% of myself in the light, and we'll see how that goes. Well, guess what? You come in, due to the distortions and the extreme gravitational pull and tilt of this planet, a whole bunch more of you gets pulled over onto the dark side. So you know, may end up here, you got 80% of yourself here in the dark, only 20 over here. Maybe you go down to like 90%, 95%. Maybe you only got 5% darkness. So you're holding an extreme level of polarity, okay? So that light side had to be super light to hold the super dark, okay? So now I want to talk about indigo souls, okay? If you're watching this video, you have indigo soul coding. What do I mean by indigo souls? Indigo souls have the capacity to hold extreme polarity and not break. Very powerful soul coding, yeah? To hold the polarity with the potential of depolarizing polarity while incarnating indigo souls. That's how freaking powerful you are. Maybe you've been incarnating as an indigo for a lot of lifetimes, right? Because you know this potential is here. You know you can hold extreme levels of polarity and depolarize and integrate, right? So we've got a balance, right? We have no understanding of what light or dark is when it's depolarized, yeah? In depolarization, it's not that everything is dark and everything is light. How can we even explain it in polarized language? To think of it as it's a continuum of energy, yeah? We've been in a polarized state. So we got polarized dark, which holds a distorted density and miasmic field. You know, we know it. We've been in the pain, in the suffering, the grief, the sorrow, the guilt. My God. Okay, I talked about this in the previous video, the beleaguered, besieged human heart over here. This part of the light was like so polarized, it couldn't even integrate down into our bodies here. It had to, you know, vibrate and oscillate at such a high frequency up here in order to hold the polarity of the darkness down here. So it's very hard to integrate, very hard to bring your light aspects in. And, you know, I know all of you listen to my videos, you're epic souls. You've been doing the deep dive work, whether you just woke up to it or you've been at it for years and lifetimes with your eyes wide open and your heart open, feeling it all. My God, powerful being that you are. Just can't say enough on that one. Okay. All right, where are we at here? Polarization, light and dark. What's over here in the light? I call it your crystal seed or your Christ seed, Christ code, Christ consciousness, the ability to remember your eternal nature, even when you head down into the polarized duality zones of deep, dark separation. That's the seed potential of an angelic human soul, yeah? Okay. So again, when you're doing your work, it's like you have these experiences, but they're a lot like out of your body, and you got to go on these wild detours and meditations or whatever you use. Some people use all kinds of things to get there, right? To attain states of higher consciousness, yeah. But then you can't really bring it down into your body, and then your body's still existing. A lot of your psyche, your mind, is way down there in the depths of dark, wandering around, confused, lost. You can't really see where you are. You're feeling all kinds of stuff. It's bloody confusing, and it hurts like freaking hell, right? Okay, so really want to, validate this experience. There's nothing wrong with this experience. Stop judging yourself. It's like, how am I going to heal my shadow? How am I going to integrate all of this? Okay. I'm understanding all this in a wholly different way, right? How we're always held in wholeness ultimately. Yeah. And so this path of the indigo soul, which has this crystal and crystalline aspect in it. Yeah. We're also held by a really big, super higher self level that I call the luminary self, okay? That exists out beyond polarity, yeah? And so can see it, yeah, and hold also too. So that's your big backup support, your luminary self, okay? You got your beautiful crystalline crystal self, yeah, pure, eternal nature existing in manifest form. And you got your dark, shadowy part over here that got pulled over into the heavy density and gravity of darkness. Okay, there we go. Just to give you a kind of a different kind of map here for navigating. Okay, so let's come back here into our hearts and how this returning of this part of ourself, this kind of extra part of our quantum that got pulled over into the dark, is coming back to ourselves, yeah, here. So there's a lot of memories that are coming back online, and that have been stored in our deep unconscious, deep subconscious, and I would say subterranean levels, okay, over in the dark, that we just couldn't touch, we just couldn't face, because we would have cracked and just completely cracked and broken, okay? So there's levels of deep human collective planetary grief in those subterranean levels that are finally being seen, touched, and recognized for the truth of that experience. These deep levels of grief, the words I use are the sacred brokenness. Yeah? Sacred brokenness. It is that which has reincarnated over and over and over and over and over again into the polarized darkness. And it's so broken, it will not rise up and put itself back together and heal up into the light. Yeah. It is going to go, and I've spoken about this, I think, before, with the dark angels of dark matter, the angels of dark matter. Yeah? And it goes into the dark womb of creation, into the dark, the generative dark. Yeah, that it's like merciful passage. Yeah, so that is moving at a deep layer of our beings. It is profound. Yeah, and then that heaviness becomes a little bit lighter. So that part of ourselves starts to experience some of the rising up quality in the dark, right? That rising up, of a seed that's planted in the dark, and when it starts to germinate, it starts to rise up. Okay, but there was this heavy, compacted, deep layer of traumas, sorrows, griefs, pain, suffering, you know, that was sitting on this seed potential. We have this crystal seed way up high. We also have that crystal potential, that eternal potential, deep, deep, deep in the matter. Yeah, deep in matter. Okay, so that compacted heaviness has been removed, and guess what? That's these like dark parts of ourself that are being returned to us. So that we can feel through all these subconscious, unconscious layers that we didn't have the capacity to before. We have so much support, okay? Again, this light side is being able to ground down, to descend. We're kind of like descending, the light's descending and the dark is ascending, and somehow we're going to find our balance in here. We're going to, you know, depolarize. Yeah, powerful, powerful, powerful transformation, powerful inner alchemy, powerful time to be alive. Guess what? Why are so many souls here? Yeah, okay. Again, remember, we got this huge, huge, like giant, super, super higher self, our luminary soul, our luminary self that's holding us through this passageway here. So, and all of our epic teams of support on so many levels. We are so used to indigo souls working so damn hard, and just working, fighting, like hitting the ground, right? Fighting, you know, the moment we were born, even before we were born. We got to show up in the polarity and like hold it and hold it and hold it and like engage in that epic long war of the light versus the dark that's been going on internally inside us. Yeah, very hard. Yeah, very, very hard to live with that polarity inside of yourself. You think you're crazy at times. Yeah, it's a hard path, right? So you also may be parents to indigo souls. Yeah, so you got indigos, you got some crystals coming in, and they may be going through their real dark night of the soul. They're really in the dark passages. Yeah, so if you are a parent or a family member or a friend who's going through their dark passage, important also to be keeping vigil for those. Yeah, keeping vigil for those that are in the dark corridors right now. And there's a lot of people going through some really dark, really hard times. Yeah, and there's those of us that we've been through that a lot. We have an understanding. There's like something that's been polished in our soul that we are able to be with. That to hold vigil, to remember the eternal nature of that person that we know is journeying deeper into the darkness right now. Okay. So for all of you who are holding vigil for people who are in that place right now, yeah, you may be also holding vigil for loved ones who are departing, who are preparing to die also too. Yeah. Okay, and then this like returning of these parts from the dark, you know, may happen consciously for us. It may happen unconsciously. It may happen, you know, moments before a person dies, that this part is returned to them, right? So then we're liberated from doing this reincarnation looping back into these depths of darkness, okay? So we can actually finally resolve and depolarize the light and dark within our human soul level, within our oversoul level, and we're integrate with our higher selves and then our greater, big higher self. Big thing going on. Big thing going on. I'll be sharing a lot more about this in my writing, and working on putting another platform up to share some of this with some techniques and teachings as well. When that's up, I'll be sure to let you know here on YouTube. Alrighty. What else do I want to share with you here today? right? So karmic completion, yeah? So we can actually complete, yeah? So we don't have to go back and repeat because we've seen enough, we've done enough, we've learned what we came to learn, yeah? There's a lot of completions with patterns, with ancestral lines, family members, yeah, people that have been in our life for a long time. There's a lot of completions here on the human level, on the human relational level, yeah. All of this happens with unconditional love. There's no rush, there's no force, there's no urgency. This all happens in divine right timing, divine right order. It all happens in this greater current and wave of unconditional universal love. You could call it the greater reckoning. Yeah. Is again such a profound time to be alive. I spoke about this in my previous video about this, you know, the human heart, the beleaguered, besieged, under attack human heart, being supported again by this crystalline intelligence and consciousness that can hold our eternal nature while we're experiencing polarity and separation, while we're living in the worlds of finite form. We still are in touch with that eternal aspect of ourself, yeah. And how tender your heart may be feeling right now, yeah. And it requires perhaps a different way of understanding, which is why I make these videos, right? To give you some different kinds of maps or context to understand your experience, to not judge yourself so harshly, to stop banishing these shadowy, you know, bad parts of yourself, right? There's a tremendous integration going on, yeah. Some of these parts are these identities that we had over on the dark side. They're just expiring, yeah. I've had many experiences for a lot of years of seeing parts of myself that are just done with the dark, and they just kind of self-terminate. They kind of self-incinerate almost, and just poof, they're just done, you know. And that again, there's a balancing that goes on, and then this again, more of this polarized light starts to depolarize, and it comes in and it's softer, right? Talk a lot about this quality of softening, yeah, this softness, which is like a depolarizing. Polarized state is very hard, it's very sharp, yeah. There's a lot of tension, effort, force required to hold ourselves in separation, to exist in polarity, right? It's wobbling, it's shaking, it's not really holding. The new patterns are coming in, very different, depolarized light and dark. You know, we really don't know what that is yet, but we're certainly going to find out. You know, children, our grandchildren, our descendants, they will know. They will know. And here we are doing this work here right now, beautiful, profound, and powerful. So karmic completions, yeah, dark reckoning, yeah. And let's just finish here by coming into your heart, yeah, the incredible human heart that has the capacity to feel it all, yeah, to go deep into the distortions and to ascend to the highest of the high, yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna bring some balance in here. Time for some solitude, you know, to be with what's moving through you, to be with people who can support you at times. You know, we don't have to do all of this alone. We've been alone. We've been isolated, you know. It's a powerful, powerful time. Again, can't say, keep saying powerful, powerful, powerful. It just is. It just is. Alrighty. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. I really, really deeply appreciate your time and your attention. And really, it's my joy, my pleasure, my passion to make these videos and just to speak what's coming in. Again, I just feel like there's so much freaking information that's coming through. I've had like a bottleneck. It's like trying to get through it. It's like so pressurized. So it's like those channels are starting to open up. Information's flowing through a little easier here. And maybe you're experiencing that for yourself too, right? Our higher levels are integrating in, our dark levels integrating up. And freaking tastic. Alrighty, so big, huge, wonderful blessings to all of you. Like, subscribe, check out my links down below. I'll keep you posted of new offerings that'll be coming up in the coming months ahead. Stay cozy and warm if you're up here in the north, and well, keep holding the light and the warmth down there in the southern part of the planet. Thank you all so much. I'll see you again really soon.